The wind had fallen silent. The city streets were empty, but he felt it before he saw her. A presence, subtle and chilling, brushing against his mind. From the corner of his eye, she appeared, a woman so impossibly beautiful it made him stumble, standing beneath the dim glow of a flickering street lamp. Her eyes were silver, deep, and unreadable, holding a secret that prickled his soul. She smiled, slow, deliberate, knowing. "Follow," she whispered. He wanted to refuse. Every instinct screamed to run, but his feet moved before his mind could protest. He did not know that from that moment, his life would never belong to him again. Over the next days, strange coincidences haunted him. Accidents he should have suffered never occurred. Opportunities fell into his hands that defied all reason. And always, somewhere in the distance, she watched, her gaze catching him in reflections, shadows, glimpses he thought were tricks of the mind. One evening, he confronted her. "Who are you?" She laughed softly, like a bell in the dark. "Someone who has always watched over you. Someone who cannot leave you." Her words were intoxicating, but something else lurked beneath, an obsession that made the air itself heavy. He felt it, and yet could not resist it. She did not reveal her power all at once. It was subtle, the way the rain stopped when he needed to cross the street. The droplets seemed to hesitate in midair, forming a fragile canopy that shielded him. Even the chill of the evening softened, as if the world itself had bent gently to her will, guarding him without a sound. The way a careless driver swerved moments before hitting him, leaving him frozen for a heartbeat, heart pounding in disbelief. The tires hissed on the wet pavement, and for a fleeting instant, the world seemed to tilt. Yet he remained untouched, as if an invisible hand had guided him away from harm. A shiver ran down his spine, half fear, half awe, knowing again that something beyond ordinary kept him safe. The way friends and enemies acted in unnatural, inexplicable ways. A casual word from him could spark confusion. A glance could shift moods in an instant. At first, he believed it was luck, fleeting coincidences that seemed almost accidental. But then he realized it was her. Every subtle change, every perfectly timed action carried the faint, unerring trace of her presence, guiding the world around him without anyone else noticing. "You saved me once," she said one night, in the dim candlelight of her apartment. Her fingers brushed his hand, sending a spark through his chest. "Now I save you. Every moment, every breath for you." There was love in her words, but something else, a dangerous intensity he could feel in his bones. Small supernatural signs grew impossible to ignore. Animals shied away from her presence. Birds froze mid-flight, their wings trembling before they veered away. Dogs whimpered softly, retreating into shadows. And even stray cats hissed from a distance, refusing to approach. Every creature seemed to sense something beyond their understanding, instinctively keeping their distance from her. Mirrors sometimes refused to reflect her image. When he looked, the glass remained clear, showing only the empty room behind her, as if she existed outside their ordinary reflections. And at times, he caught fleeting glimpses of silver eyes where no one stood. A flash in the shadows, a shimmer in a dark corner, or a reflection in a window, gone before he could focus, leaving only a chill that ran down his spine. Each glimpse was brief, mysterious, and impossible to explain, yet he felt their quiet, watchful presence everywhere he turned. He started questioning everything. Was she human? Was this love, or some force beyond comprehension? She never answered directly, only smiled and said, "Some truths are revealed when the time is right." Patience. He began to rely on her, drawn not just to her beauty, but to the inexplicable comfort of her presence. Yet, every moment with her carried a hint of danger, as if each breath he took near her tied him closer to something eternal and inescapable. Every laugh, every touch, every glance was electric. He realized he was falling in love, but something within him whispered, "Fall too far, and you may never escape." The revelation came one stormy night. Lightning split the sky, and shadows danced unnaturally around her. "I am a witch," she confessed, voice soft but unyielding. "Not the stories you read. I have lived centuries, altered destinies, rewritten moments, stolen futures, all to keep you alive, all to bring you to me." He felt a chill. Every strange coincidence, every brush of luck, every shadowed reflection suddenly made sense. His life had never been his own. "You could leave," she whispered, stepping closer. Her silver eyes glimmered with longing. "But if you do, I vanish. Every moment we shared, every chance I gave you, it disappears with me." He felt the weight of her words pressing against him, as if the very air around them trembled with the possibility of loss. Every heartbeat pulsed with urgency, reminding him that leaving was not just impossible. It would erase everything they had shared. He wanted a normal life. He wanted freedom. But when he looked into her eyes, he felt eternity pulling him in, terrifying, irresistible, inescapable. The silver depths shimmered with centuries of longing, and for a heartbeat, the world around him seemed to fade, leaving only her, a gravity he could not resist, no matter how he tried. Slowly, he stepped forward, taking her hand. "I choose you," he whispered. For a heartbeat, the world seemed to hold its breath. Then the night itself began to change. A sudden wind swept through the empty streets. Dark clouds rolled across the moon, swallowing its pale light. Thunder murmured as if the sky itself had awakened to witness the moment. A soft silver glow rose around them. Her silver eyes trembled for the first time in centuries. Slowly, she lifted his face in her hands, gazing deep into his eyes. Centuries of longing, pain, and hope reflected there. Then she drew him close, her arms wrapped around him, pulling him into a tender, impossibly close embrace. He felt her warmth, her magic weaving through them, binding him to her in blissful, terrifying eternity. Every heartbeat echoed between them, a rhythm of longing and power, as if the air itself had grown thick with their shared presence. Time seemed to slow, the world outside fading, leaving only the intimate pulse of their connection. She kissed him slow, deep, and full of everything she had waited for through countless years. The wind rose, swirling around them, tugging at his clothes and hair as if nature itself leaned into witness. Silver light danced like mist, circling their entwined forms, wrapping them in a luminous cocoon that seemed to suspend the world outside. In that moment, every sense was consumed. The taste, the warmth, the magic, a connection older than time itself. Still holding him, still pressed together, the glow grew brighter, pulling them into itself. She held him as though the centuries of waiting had finally ended in that single moment. Her embrace tightened with a quiet, desperate tenderness, as if she feared even time itself might try to take him away. In that silent closeness, all the love she had carried through endless years flowed into him without a single word. Their shadows stretched, softened, and began to fade. Feet, torsos, faces, all dissolved into the silver brilliance. Soft clouds of shimmering mist rose around them, swallowing their forms piece by piece. Within seconds, their figures melted completely into the drifting silver clouds, as if the night itself had claimed them. And then, at last, they were gone. The wind fell silent. The street lay empty. The night seemed unchanged, yet it would never be the same again. Shadows lingered longer than they should, and a faint shimmer in the air hinted at something once there, but now vanished. Even the quiet felt charged, as if the city itself remembered the moment that had just passed. Weeks passed, then months. Life in the city appeared ordinary, but whispers of the vanished pair slowly spread. Some swore they saw a young man walking beside a woman with silver eyes along lonely streets or riverbanks. Always hand in hand, always silent. Whenever anyone tried to follow, the figures would vanish into the darkness, leaving only a trace of silver light lingering in the air. It became a story told in hushed voices, a legend of a love that had waited centuries and finally claimed eternity. People debated what they truly saw. Was it love that had transcended time, or something far stranger? Those who glimpsed the pair, said the young man, sometimes looked back at the world he had left behind, but the silver-eyed woman always held his hand firmly. The moment she held his hand, he vanished with her, disappearing into shadows and eternity. They were forever bound, a love that had waited centuries to claim him, defying time, fate, and human understanding. Even the moon seemed to pause in its journey across the sky, as if honoring the love that had transcended all else. Perhaps they still walk somewhere tonight, through quiet streets, through forgotten forests, through places where the ordinary fades away. A witch with silver eyes, and the man who chose her. Hand in hand, beyond the reach of time. Some loves refuse to die. Some destinies wait centuries to be fulfilled. Some stories end. This one only begins. If this story of love, fate, and the supernatural stirred your imagination, don't forget to like and share it with those who enjoy mysteries beyond the ordinary. And subscribe, because many more thrilling journeys are waiting just beyond the shadows.